Once upon a time, three children played by the river in the evening. As darkness began to creep in, they continued to enjoy their time. But suddenly, as the sky darkened fully, they saw a yellowish circle hovering above the water, faintly glowing. They admired the strange sight for a moment before finishing their bath and heading home along the forest path by the river. As they walked, they looked up at the sky, a perfect star-filled night with a full moon, unmarred by the haze of pollution. However, as they continued, they realized they were headed in the wrong direction. A brownish cloud covered half of the moon, casting an eerie shadow over the land, making everything seem unnervingly innocent. And then they saw it. A dark house perched atop a hill, its silhouette crooked against the moonlit sky. The children, Maya, the cautious eldest, Rohan, the bold middle child, and little Pia, whose curiosity often outweighed her fear, exchanged uneasy glances. The house loomed before them, an unsettling figure in the night. "Are you sure this is the way home?" Pia whispered, her voice trembling with fear. Rohan, trying to sound brave, puffed out his chest. "Of course, I know this forest well, it's just a shortcut." Maya wasn't convinced. "There's no path leading up to it, and it looks creepy." Ignoring her, Rohan started walking toward the house. "Come on, scaredy cats! Let's just ask for directions." Reluctantly, Maya and Pia followed. As they approached, the house seemed to grow larger, its shadows stretching like long, skeletal fingers. The wind howled around them, carrying a scent of damp earth and something oddly sweet yet unsettling. Rohan reached the front door, a heavy oak with a rusted iron knocker shaped like a raven. He hesitated, but then, with a forced grin, knocked loudly. The sound echoed through the silent forest, making the children jump. After a long pause, the door creaked open. Inside, a dimly lit hallway greeted them. In the far corner stood an old, ornate coffin, cracked and weathered, adding to the eerie atmosphere. A tall, thin figure stood in the doorway, their face obscured by shadows. "Hello?" Rohan said, his voice barely a whisper. "We're lost. Could you help us?" The figure didn't speak. Instead, it motioned with a long, bony finger, inviting them inside. Hesitantly, the children stepped into the house. The door slammed shut behind them, plunging them into near-total darkness. The air was thick and heavy, filled with the same strange, sweet scent they had noticed outside. As their eyes adjusted, they began to make out the details of the hallway. Cobwebs hanging like ghostly curtains, dust thick on the floor, undisturbed for years. Strange, unsettling portraits lined the walls, their eyes following the children's every move. The figure led them deeper into the house, through winding corridors and up a creaking staircase. They passed rooms filled with bizarre objects, dusty books bound in human skin, jars containing unidentifiable floating things, and furniture draped in rotting velvet. At last, they reached a large, circular room at the top of the house. In the center stood a table covered with a black cloth. The figure stopped and turned toward them. As it stepped into the dim light, the children gasped. It wasn't a person at all, but an old, lifelike puppet with glowing red eyes. A raspy, ancient voice echoed in the room. "Welcome, children. You have been expected." "Expected?" Maya asked, her voice trembling. "Who are you? What is this place?" The puppet chuckled, a dry, rattling sound. "This is my home, and I am the collector. I collect things, rare things, interesting things. And now I collect you." Rohan, finally realizing the danger, tried to run, but the door had vanished. The walls seemed to close in around them. "What do you want with us?" Pia cried. The collector's glowing red eyes locked onto her. "I want your stories, little one. Your memories, your very essence. They will make a fine addition to my collection." Suddenly, the room began to spin. The children felt a strange tingling sensation, as if something was being pulled from them. They cried out in fear, but the collector only laughed. Just when they thought all hope was lost, a faint light appeared in the corner of the room. It grew brighter and brighter until it filled the entire space. The spinning stopped. Standing in the light was the yellow circle they had seen by the river, now pulsing with warm golden energy. The collector recoiled, his glowing eyes dimming. "What is this? Get it away from me!" The light expanded, pushing back the darkness. The children felt their strength return. Maya, recalling the strange scent, realized it was coming from the collector. She grabbed a nearby vase and threw it at the puppet. It shattered, releasing a cloud of dust that smelled like burnt sugar and decay. The collector shrieked, his form flickering. The light grew more intense, and with one final blinding flash, the collector vanished. The house began to shake, and the walls crumbled around them. The yellow circle floated toward the children, transforming into a shimmering golden path that led them out of the collapsing house. They ran as fast as they could, following the path until they emerged back into the forest. The moon still shone, but the sky now seemed brighter, the stars twinkling with renewed vigor. The children looked back at the hill, but the dark house was gone, as though it had never existed. They followed a new path and soon reached their village. Their parents, overjoyed to see them, had been frantic with worry. Exhausted but relieved, the children told them everything that had happened. At first, their parents didn't believe them, but the children knew the truth. They had faced darkness beyond their worst nightmares and survived. From that day on, the children were changed. They became more cautious, more aware of the dangers hidden in the shadows, and they learned that even in the darkest of times, there is always a light, a hope that can guide them through. But sometimes, when the wind howled through the trees, they wondered if the collector was truly gone, or if he was still out there, waiting in the darkness, adding to his collection. And they could almost hear his dry, rattling laugh on the wind. The end, or is it just the beginning?